There's this famous quote that people always quote, and that's what I mean. It's such a snobby thing to say. Where one of the premier lines in that movie is when the super rich guy who's living in the post apocalypse, they ask him, "How do you deal with like the struggle and the pain of living in such a horrible world?" And he says, "I just don't think about it." And it's deep because he's a rich guy. He has the privilege and the funds to not think about it, as the rest of the world is suffering and can't afford to not think about it because they're living it.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to school. But don't worry, everything is cool. I'm your host, Julyssa, and of course, I am here with the boys, Steve and Brandon. Say what's up, you guys.
What's up?
And how y'all doing today?
Doing pretty good. Oh, I'm sorry, Brandon. Were you gonna say something? Okay. I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, as you guys see, we didn't release an episode last week because I was the one who was dying. I am in recovery. I am still a little sicky. You might hear me cough. You might hear me sniffle. But I am here in my Jesse Pinkman fit. So I'm here to talk and get engaged. And because there's a lot going on in the world right now that should make you angry. And if it doesn't make you angry, then wow, you're a pretty calm guy. Wow. I appreciate that in these times there's moments of levity where you can keep a cool head. Shout out to you. Julie, how are you?
I'm chill.
Oh.
I'm chilling.
Oh, go ahead, Brandon. Do that into the mic. That's pretty good. You see, we can laugh.
Yeah.
It's all about nuance, guys. It's all about nuance.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Yeah, has been crazy.
It has been crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, because it was one thing after another, especially like, I mean, specifically here in LA, we've been going through the fires, we've been going through that recovery, and then the president came in, and then a lot of stuff has been happening.
Yeah.
Your president came in?
The president? I said the president.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to stir the pot, guys, early on.
He's not my president.
Wow.
One more time.
Wait, I gotta say his name. President Trump?
Bro.
Wow. That was so good, actually.
I don't care what anybody says. Farts are funny.
Farts are funny.
Farts are funny. I know everybody's been
That was
like
actually
highbrow
pretty funny.
humor, right? But farts are funny, man.
They're like, ew.
They're funny.
I think everybody laughs.
Yeah.
I think that people take themselves too seriously if they don't think that like toilet humor is funny.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys.
It's like the oldest trick in the book, you know?
It's like when you say
Yeah.
number 2.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of living?
He
Come on.
like giggled.
Come on, guys. Come on, audience. Somebody say a joke right now. A fart joke. Julie, pull my finger.
No.
Wait, Brandon, for all those at home.
What?
Look,
Pull his
you
finger?
guys can't see,
I'll
but
pretend I pulled
Okay.
this finger.
It works. I told you.
that was so good. That was like perfect. You're already so good at that. Your timing was impeccable. Oh my god.
Thank you. All right.
But hope you guys are enjoying that humor. I know it's
Yeah.
been crazy out there. I mean, personally, I can say that it has been very tiring and overwhelming with everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I mean, we can't stop the fight. You know, we
Mhm.
still need to speak out for us. You know, I know we haven't been having our episodes mostly just because things have been
I don't
happening.
know. We're
which
getting our
Stevie
ass
is
beat.
like-
I'm getting my ass beat by fucking
Yeah.
the diseases,
We've all
bro.
been sick.
yeah.
I the conspiracy theorist in me thinks it's a psyop by the government because I've been saying too many things against them.
Yeah.
But I'm also just, I don't know, crazy.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just been a crazy time. I think it's just like overall everything with like the air and just a lot of things. Because I know for sure for me, I've been having like a sore throat, but I can't tell if it's like I'm sick or if it's still the air.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mostly, that's why I've been trying to look for like an air purifier because I feel like it's my room that's
Yeah.
been causing that a lot.
All the dust.
Because I feel like all the dust just kind of came into my room and I still don't like see it, but I know it's there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming that that's like what's going on with me. Because after, like, I would drink water and everything in the morning and I'll be fine after. So I don't know, but there's been a lot. But at the same time, I haven't been too overwhelmed lately though. Like I sometimes feel it when I'm on like the internet and everything, but sometimes I'm more just like, I know people have been saying it's also
Yeah.
that thing of like, they're doing this on purpose to kind of overwhelm you so that you can be
Fire
like,
hosing.
yeah, so that you can like kind of turn away from it. And I feel like that kind of empowered me a little more once I like learned that. Especially seeing like, you know, I think me personally, like there's a lot of things that I feel like aren't fully affecting me, but I know are affecting people a lot more than me. So I'm like, I feel like for them, I'm going to try to, you know, speak out, bring awareness for them if they can't do it or they feel unsafe.
No, I get you. I think the quote that usually, like, for me, calms me down when I feel like I see too much in the news, like, that our government is doing, is our ancestors did a lot more with a lot less. Like, you
Yeah.
know, obviously, civil rights movements and stuff. Well, we're not there. It's not perfect. But we're a lot worse.
Yeah.
The environments were a lot worse, and the conditions that people live in were a lot worse. And they did a lot more with now.
Yeah.
We're lucky to even have this podcast,
Yeah.
right? Our ancestors wouldn't have even been able to have freedom of speech.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's what it helps me.
I think that's the same thing that I always think about too, where I'm like, because people always kind of compare, like, oh, like this has happened before and all those things. But it's like back then they probably didn't have the resources of having multiple people put out their story and hear them out and like see what's happening to their communities. And I feel like now we have that outreach to do it. And I think it's important to do it so that we can put them, you know, on the spotlight and be like, they need help. Like these people need help, you know, and just awareness. Like I know that there's always been the feeling of feeling helpless, right? Because some of us, you know, are going through our own struggles with like money or like food and all that. But I think just like being aware is a start, you know, having that open mind to like hear people out and be like, oh, okay, like I understand what you're going through, you know?
Yeah.
So I've thought about that too. And I'm like, I think that's what also helps me to be like, people back then didn't have, you know, a community to like help them out or or people outside of their community.
Yeah.
And I think seeing that now is something important to be like, okay, it's a start, right? It's something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've also seen people, at least in my circle, who were never all too involved or political, so to speak, be a lot more outspoken and outraged about what's going on. And I really like that. I really think that's an amazing thing. I personally feel, I mean, maybe people see differently, but this is what helps me is that I personally feel that the taboo or the let's not get political or making things political, to me feels like it's starting to fade a little bit. Yeah. At least for me. Because they made our existence political. You know what I mean? And I think for a long time, the term like, oh, let's not get political was in part a tactic to get people to stop talking about certain things. But in recent light, because a lot of our community has been affected, you know, it sucks that it had to get to this point. But I do feel a lot of people being more outspoken, trying to raise more awareness and trying to be more educated about things. And I really like that. So, yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah, I think I've seen like there was like this weird stigma where people were more afraid to speak out, but now it's like, you know, I don't know. It's easier to speak out now.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion, I think so. Well, mainly because also like we were talking about this before the show, but like on the opposite end of the spectrum, it feels like people who are racist, like are unapologetically like now racist.
Yeah.
You know, like people used to be scared of being like Republicans or being like Trump supporters, and now they are not afraid at all. And so if they're not afraid, then we shouldn't be afraid to be on the opposite end of that.
Yeah, for sure. 100%, right? I agree.
Yeah. So
I mean,
shout out to everyone.
I guess to start things off, like based on you know, people being more bold about their racism, Elon kind of did a huge gesture.
Oh, yeah, we haven't talked about it. I know by the time this comes out, it's
kind of, but I think it's important.
I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like past its.
Yeah, I think despite what everybody's gonna tell you, I personally don't think we should ever shut up about this. You know, I think that, I mean, I'm not gonna say it on here. I mean, actually, fuck it. He made a Nazi salute, you know, and I think that people beating around the bush about what it is softens it a little bit. Yeah. I think people should call it what it is. You know, it's a Nazi salute. You know, with everybody being like, oh, it was an obscene gesture. It was an obscene gesture, but say what it was. You know. I think everybody going with the whole, oh, it was a Roman salute, or he was just throwing his heart out to the crowd is bullshit. You know, he was being openly racist.
I do think people are tripping who defend and are like, oh, it's like ambiguous. I don't feel it's ambiguous. Mainly because like there's been just so much evidence. I get it if at the time maybe you were like, oh, like, was that really what it was? Even though it looks very clearly like a salute.
Yeah.
I think in the video that came out where he actually did do "My Heart Goes Out to You," which apparently he had defended the Nazi salute with. He knew what it was. He made like a little heart, and then he gently, gently like spread that shit out. So clearly it wasn't that. I think that what do you get? I wanted to bring this up because a lot of people say that like he's an autistic man, so like he's just making like obscene gestures. I don't know as much about autism as the next man does, but I remember just thinking like, but if that's like, let's say a subconscious thought, doesn't that still mean he's a Nazi? I mean, like, even if Hitler was autistic, wouldn't that still condemn him? Like, it wouldn't really free him of his action.
Yeah, I feel like to me the thing as a defense is like, are they trying to imply it was like a Freudian slip? You know, where like, oh, he did that on accident, but he was used to doing that.
I know, right?
So he's done that before, and it just slipped on the public stage. Either way, I think that's weird. I love to hear like our friends at Ryan and Dominic talk about it because they have experience with autism, and I would love to hear them like push back on that rhetoric.
Yeah.
But
I get you. Yeah, but I was also saying that it's a little bizarre for me because I also see people defending it, being like, "Oh, it's the legacy media trying to make it bigger than it is." But I'm like, I mean, it's not just legacy media. I mean, the average person had talked about what he did with his gesture, and it was very clearly a salute. Sorry, it was very clearly a salute. But it's weird that there was no repercussions because even if this was like something that happened in Germany, there would have been repercussions. Or he didn't even like apologize for it.
Yeah,
like say like I'm sorry. Yeah. Like even let's say in theory, let's say in this reality, this universe where it was a genuine mistake. Like I don't know how, but he somehow like did the salute, realized what it looked like. I feel like an average person would be like, I'm so sorry this caused so much like uproar. Clearly people are offended, and clearly this caused a big controversy. So I just wanted to clear the air and be like, this wasn't a Nazi salute, and I'm sorry for it. I'm surprised he didn't even just do that. I mean, the fact that he was like, from what I've seen, from I think what Julie showed me, he was more defensive on it. To me, just shows even more that he clearly has some type of admiration for that party.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember seeing, I don't know if you saw it, but it was going around that he had tweeted something.
Yeah, it
and
was.
He was doing like a
I
joke.
bet y'all did not see that coming.
Yeah.
Well, of course, right? Like how Steve said, it's how is your first instinct to not even just deny it at the very least? Like, or apologize. The fact that he's just very much like, it was just a joke, like, or whatever the fuck he said.
I don't even, whatever the defense. He basically didn't even address it.
I think the defense and everything and all that it's just normalizing it. I hate that it's being normalized, or that there's people out there who are defending it, or even, like, well, I don't understand why you would.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I generally don't get what was the point of that. And I feel like, especially, I don't know, in history, knowing how horrific that group is, it's like, I guess it's, to me, I just can't like understand why you would feel like the need to make a joke out of it, of something so horrible that happened, And I'm just like, I don't, like, it's not funny at all. Like, even if like there was slight humor, it's like, but it's not something you joke about, it's not something, because people's lives, were taken from this.
Yeah. And
I'm just like, I don't know. I don't get people who generally find it funny.
Yeah.
I don't get how they find it funny,
Yeah.
No, like, I think that's my thing. Is like, I don't understand like how you guys would even possibly find this funny.
Well, I guess the reason I also feel very strongly about it is it's very clearly normalizing it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very clearly normalizing open discrimination, open racism, open fascism, because that's everything that symbol is for. And I think about this thing called the paradox of tolerance, where it was coined in this book. I forget the author's name, where basically they talk about how if you're tolerant to intolerant people, then you're essentially what's the word?
Enabling
intolerance.
Yeah.
And because of that, intolerance becomes the norm. It overtakes tolerance. So it's kind of like a paradox where you can't. It's in the way that the book describes it, right? it's a paradox in the sense that you can't tolerate intolerance.
Yeah.
You know, that's why that salute, I think, it's illegal in Germany, right? It's illegal to do it in Germany and a few other countries, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I only know Germany for sure because I know they take it serious.
But that's why I think people should be more upset about it.
Yeah.
You know, like obviously stay educated with all the other stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
But I do think people are right to be alarmed and angry because it wasn't even just at like some random Tesla event. That was at the inauguration of the president, the leader of the country, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah. I also feel like I've seen people share posts even about businesses starting to be attacked after that.
Yeah.
Of like people are even starting to write like the symbols on like their businesses and especially to, you know, black and brown businesses.
Yeah.
Like specifically like brown businesses, you know, because it's especially with everything currently going on, they're attacking a lot of like the small businesses and a lot of like the brown businesses, right?
Yeah.
So then they show that it says something like on there and then it has the symbol on there.
Yeah.
Specifically. So it's kind of like that, right? Where it's like if you're letting one person get away with it, then everybody else is kind of like, why? If he did it, I can do it. Yeah. Like, and no one's gonna tell me anything.
Yeah. Like I saw this beautiful political meme. I showed it to you where it showed like basically the four sides of like American politicalism, where it's like basically all three sides are saying it's a Nazi salute. The super liberal side and even the super like racist, you know, right wing side is like, hell yeah, like he's on our side. Yeah. And the only side that isn't is the moderate conservative. Like, you know, like isn't that ironic that basically everybody sees it for what it actually is, except for this small group of people, not even small, but this, I don't know, this vocal minority of people.
I mean, we talked about it before where I think at this point, right, the whole idea of being moderate or centrist, I think is a reflection of being, to some degree, afraid of saying what your actual beliefs are out loud. And at least that's the representation I've seen, you know, where someone like Joe Rogan, right, where he's always been, I'm not really like a political guy. Like, you know, I'm kind of in the center. But then he's at the inauguration. He had J.D. Vance and Trump at his podcast. He said he had Elon Musk on his podcast say, if you don't vote for Trump, this could be the last election. So how can you say that and then suddenly be like, oh, but I'm not a Republican. You know, you clearly are. You know, you're aligning yourself with those values. So, yeah.
I think it's a lack of self-awareness. Most people who like, I think would say that is just that they're embarrassed to be proudly conservative because the people that are associated with conservatism are stupid and are obviously problematic. And it's kind of like humorous because it's like you don't want to say that you're Republican because you know how embarrassing it is to be a proud Republican. And if you don't think it's embarrassing to consider yourself a conservative, I think you're probably just stupid. Because I think that's the only way that you don't feel some sort of shame for being Republican and conservative. Because like we were watching Inglourious Bastards yesterday, and you know how people were so proud to be like Nazis or like be part of like the German army, but a lot of those people were like stupid and just regular citizens who didn't know shit about shit. Yeah. So like the way I see it with Joe Rogan, I think it's like he's just ignorant and not educated in what it actually means to be like a political figure in the United States.
Yeah, but I guess also going back to both the points that you guys made about how if you allow one person to do it, especially somebody in the richest man on the planet, you know, who's basically the puppeteer of the president, to get away with that, then so many people feel like emboldened and enabled to do that thing. Like all this. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do you think Elon is puppeteering Trump or Trump is puppeteering Elon?
I personally think Elon is puppeteering Trump. I think
because you think Elon's a smart guy.
No, I just think that I'm
stirring the pot.
I think that the country's like now like not even embarrassed or hiding,
that it's run by these
or just hiding the fact that it's an oligarchy now. I mean, you had Jeff Bezos,
Mark Zuckerberg,
Elon Musk, and all these billionaires in the front row before the cabinet. By the way, you know. So to me, it's just showing that all these companies are running, you know, the country at this point. It's basically like a giant factory, like for them. So maybe I don't know that it's necessarily Elon's whispering in his ear, but I do think that he's in the service of the billionaires and the monies, and he's the biggest billionaire there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks because like that video of Elon Musk at the inauguration where where he's dancing and like he's like he's like roaring.
Yeah.
It annoys me because there's nothing like just a pet peeve I have is somebody who like just thinks that they're the shit and they have the biggest ego and they think they're untouchable. Because it's like, bro, like Elon Musk, you're like made out of flesh and blood too, bro.
Yeah.
Like anybody could fucking punk you. Like you think you're so fucking big because of all this money, especially because it's just because of his money. Like he's just a rich guy. Like he thinks that shit's gonna protect him when the guillotine gets brought out, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No? Am I about to be put on a list?
Maybe.
It's okay. I don't mind. I'm probably on a few already.
But no, that's crazy. Like what was I gonna say? Yeah, but I think talking about what we were talking about in general, all the rollbacks on the DEI and everybody just being like, we're just racist now,
Yeah. Well, they're regular people too.
I mean, like it's true that it never left, right? Like the racism never left and the white supremacy never left. But like you said, it's just like wow, just like that. Because the Target, how they took off all the black makeup. The black and brown makeup, they took out Tabitha Brown. Do you know who Tabitha Brown is?
I don't think so.
She's big on TikTok. She's like a vegan influencer. She had a really big makeup line in Target, and they cut off the deal with that, right?
And they were just straight up like, because it's for black and brown people.
It's DEI. They're basically just like, this was a DEI thing.
I guess going into the other part, right?
Yeah.
DEI. I guess because Target had fully announced that they were gonna discontinue like all their they have programs because of DEI, and a lot of their programs were catered to a lot of like black people, and they started including a lot of like black and brown businesses in in their store, and they came out with a statement saying that they were no longer going to do that they were going to stop all of their I forgot what it was called, but it was called something for black people to join these like organizations specifically just to help like their employees and like other stuff. And then they were also going to discontinue all black products, like black owned products in Target. But I mean, that's a lot of like other companies, like Target's doing it. Target is like, so these are the companies that are not doing or standing with DEI anymore. So Target.
Wait, not standing?
No, not doing it anymore. So Target, Amazon, Walmart, Meta.
Not Amazon.
McDonald's, Ford, Harley Davidson, Lowe's. I don't know what John Deere is.
It's like a breakfast company, right?
No. They're like lawnmowers and shit. They're like
really?
They're like gardening.
What am I thinking of? Jimmy Dean. That's what I'm thinking of.
Then Tractor Supply.
Yeah. I mean, these all sound very.
Yeah, I mean,
and Brown Foreman or something like that.
Well, I'm very.
Oh,
go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, and then I was gonna say like the people who are still.
Oh.
Yeah.
Also, it was hard finding people who were still doing DEI, like who were still gonna defend like their DEI programs.
Yeah.
Because there's like different things, right? Where, so for example, the biggest one, of course, is Costco. That's been talked about a lot. Of like they're still gonna be an example of the DEI policies, which a lot of people have been supporting them. A lot of people have been like
Costco, bro. Costco's always come through
and stuff. Yeah, and then there's J.P. Morgan Chase, which I'm assuming the bank or something.
J.P. Morgan, whoa. They give a fuck?
And then the other one was Apple, which is the one that I was kind of like confused about. And Apple is saying that they believe that they're still going to conduct themselves with the critical success of making the best products in the world, and then they're also going to be business ethically, honesty, and compliant to all the laws and regulations of stuff. So they're still going to have like their programs or whatever. But the thing that's like for that one specifically that was confusing is because with all the unions that are still happening, a lot of people still say don't support them. And then the other side is that I think there was another alleged thing of Tim Cook was donating money to Trump when he was running, which is also very confusing.
Well, he was there at the inauguration.
Yeah, he was also there. So that's the confusing part. So I guess a lot of people are saying just do a little more research on like who you want to support during these times. And another one that they say that is still gonna do DEI is Pinterest.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they-
Microsoft, Elf Beauty.
Cool.
So if you guys still want, beauty
Yeah.
products, Elf is still standing strong on being very inclusive and diverse in their campaigns, and of course everything else with their employees.
Bro, that's so crazy because like people always I've said this like this has been a topic for me since like we started this show, but people have always been like these conspiracy theories about like Bill Gates, about how like he's like evil and eats like kids or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's like actively always donated to like environmental causes, and now his company is one of the few ones that is like keeping DEI. Why do people have beef with Bill Gates so much? Or am I missing something? Am I missing
He hung
context?
out with Jeffrey Epstein a lot.
Oh, really?
He did an interview recently talking about it, about how he was like, I was stupid to hang out with him.
Oh,
He hung out with Jeffrey Epstein a lot.
is that?
Like a lot.
But he
Come on, bro. Yeah.
no. I was just saying like he took that back.
What do you mean? He took it back.
He said no. He just said like I
he
shouldn't have done
he
that.
just said like he should have seen that Jeffrey Epstein was a bad guy
That's
and-
crazy.
because he used to hang out with him a lot.
That's crazy.
He did a huge interview in 4K. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
He's also a billionaire, so
Yeah, I guess that makes
fuck
sense.
billionaires.
Yeah. Well, in like the Microsoft quote, they didn't quote him. They quoted their chief diversity officer,
Oh,
and they wrote that the company's diversity and inclusion work is more important than ever. And then she highlighted that in October 24, through the Global Diverse and Inclusion Report, pointing out that 76% of Microsoft's employees joined the company for both their career and their Microsoft culture.
Yeah.
So-
Well, also I just found this on The Guardian. Google and Microsoft donate $1 million each to Trump's inaugurational fund. So
So that's why it's like,
it's like, I mean,
try to be informed
I
on
think it's just it's hard because the companies like Apple and Microsoft, they're donating and they were there at the inauguration,
Mhm.
but obviously they don't want to lose your business, so
Yeah.
they're gonna say that, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what's an additive of what Julie's saying about how you should be educated about, or just do some research on who you choose to support these
Yeah.
times, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, well, because I mean, it's been a thing about the unions especially.
yeah.
So there's that too.
'Cause
But
I-
I mean, that's what's currently going
Because
on.
I also know that I haven't done so much research on this, but do you remember in like 2014-ish where Google, like, they revamped their like campus, or where they do like their big headquarters?
yeah, I think so. Like their headquarters,
where they
kinda?
had like slides
Mhm,
and
I
like
think so.
and like sleeping pods.
Yeah.
Apparently, I think I remember seeing this. Don't quote me, but where the people who used to work there would come out and talk about how all that fun shit was just so that they didn't have to treat them fairly, like so that they
Really?
wouldn't have to be getting benefits in certain ways.
Really?
So that it was more just like, oh, but it's fun to work here, guys. There's a slide, like you don't need.
There's
we
sleeping
have
bags.
snacks.
You don't need
We have
fair wages. It was basically a glorified, like, we got a pizza party at work, guys. You know?
I get you.
Yeah. So
We feed you.
yeah, I mean, hey man, we have a fucking slide. You know, like, what more do
Yeah.
you want?
Shout out to Costco.
Yeah,
Costco's cool.
Costco's cool.
Their
Yeah.
pizza's all right.
But I think I also wanted to add that what's infuriating to me about this DEI thing, of course, it's infuriating that, all the black and brown people who I believe rightfully earn their place to be there and deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Obviously, it sucks terribly that they got taken out. But I also hate that all these people, all these companies are so boldly saying like, oh, it's because like it was only like a DEI inclusion. That means it was a lesser product. The quality wasn't good.
Yeah.
Or the person wasn't a good hire. That's not true. Like I completely disagree. I think in reality what they're just saying is it's just because they're wearing white. That's
Yeah.
what makes it lesser. And I think another thing that infuriates me about it is it's kind of like that what do you call it, like those propaganda things, or those machines where they say like a white product or a white hire, that's the standard, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But a black or a brown product or a black or a brown hire, that's lesser.
Yeah.
And they're just saying, oh, it's because DEI, instead of it's just
White
racist.
supremacy.
Yeah, it's white supremacy.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
infuriating.
I think what really, I guess, for me that makes me mad is that I think, especially now currently, right, we've been seeing a lot of the DEI talk of like they blame the color of your skin, your, I guess what, your sexual orientation,
Yeah.
all these things, and they say that the reason that this failed is because they're a lesbian, or they failed because they're a woman, or they failed because it was black and brown people. And like we were too focused on having them included that we forgot to train people. Like I feel like that's the thing that makes me mad, because it's like what, like you just don't want us to be involved. Like that's how you guys just see us, that because of that you just blame us through the way that we look. It's, I guess that's the part that's like very infuriating in that, of like, how is that, like how do those things like
like, you know, I get you. Like it's kind of funny too, because it's like if somebody succeeds at their job, it's not because of like who they were born as, or if somebody, in the same way, even if they failed their job, like let's say people did blame the officers or whatever for the fires or whatever, they did a bad job maybe because they're just bad at their job, not because of who they are as a person. Not their character, but exactly like who they were born as, you know?
Yeah.
Like if I did a shitty job, you know, at work, it's not because I'm fucking Mexican. It's just like I'm just who I am as a person, as a bad worker.
Sure. But I also think it's such a cop out, and such a such a, I don't know, to me, like it's such a like concerning thing, because at the time of this recording, there was a helicopter that collided with an airline, a U.S. Airlines, right? It was a police helicopter over Washington D.C., right? Yeah. And this happened yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, I think yesterday.
From our point of view, right?
Yeah.
And Trump, J.D. Vance, both said, the president and the vice president said, that it was because of DEI that happened. It wasn't because like I don't know, that's so scary, infuriating, concerning, that whenever something bad happens, now they have that
blame the minorities.
Like this is their way of telling you, or implanting that into your mind, to just be like, oh, just blame a minority. That's,
I mean, honestly, America's always been that way.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's concerning that's now the go-to, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, and not the fact that it was, you know, under their watch, right?
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
I think people were saying that it was because Trump had canceled something, or he did something that didn't have like the people who look out for, you know, aircrafts, that they weren't like watching because of something that Trump did. I don't know.
He gutted the air traffic control.
Yeah.
So like funding for like air traffic control, and like a bunch of like regulations and safety for airlines, like TSA and all that, he gutted like a lot of funding for that.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if that was like the direct effect, but people are saying that.
Yeah.
And so it's just more like, you know, the whole not taking the accountability of like your decisions, or like just currently what's going on. Like, I think it's always just like they always try to find somebody to blame, right? Yeah. Other than themselves, or other than their own companies, or whatever that is, right?
Well, that's how concerning things in history start, is they start blaming minorities and the oppressed groups for things, whether it's economic disaster, whether it's just disasters in general like this, whether it's accidents, whether it's the reason that you don't have a job. It's always been, oh, blame the minorities. And not the fact that, you know, it's them who are doing that, you know? They don't want you to take a look at them. They don't want you to be upset at them, right? So.
Well, that's how it happened, you know, like with the whole like Hitler and whatever. Like that's how, you know, isn't it that they were like in crisis with the economy, and they started blaming, you know,
Jewish people?
Well, yeah, well, that's if you, what we learned in history, right? It didn't start directly with just let's put them in camps. It was like a slow progression. Like it would start with the economic disaster was because of the Jews, and don't let them into your shops, or you know, it was a slow build to where eventually that's where it led, you know, and it was builds like this, you know, like where it's like start blaming them, start doing that, and like, you know, and I know everybody tries to everybody on the opposite side tries to get you to feel ridiculous for saying that. It's not ridiculous. He just bought or is preparing a giant prison in Guantanamo Bay to hold like 30,000, something insane, right?
Yeah.
But you know, so don't ever think that it's ridiculous.
It just seems like such a distraction, and I don't mean that in like it's fake or anything. I just mean like it's a distraction in a weird way for the Republicans to think that like whatever Trump is doing is actually effective and gonna solve problems in the country, when all he's really doing is just torturing minorities. But speaking of the deportation of Mexicans and Latinos in this country. So there was I'm sure, as you guys saw, there was big news made by our favorite Latina actress, Selena Gomez. Julie, I know you had a lot to say about this one.
Oh.
You said, did you say
Oh.
Oh.
I said oh.
Our favorite Mexican representation.
Oh my god.
What did you guys think of it? What did you and her reaction to take down the video? And
Well, I guess because, like, you know how she ended the whole thing with, like, I guess you can't show empathy, right? Or whatever she said
she said no, that's what she said
after she deleted it.
I'll pull it up right now.
I feel like understandable, you know, like understandable to feel overwhelmed, understandable to cry about this, like understandable that you feel bad for like what is currently going on to innocent people, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like to kind of just go on the internet and cry about it and like show it like that, like I understand it's one thing, you know, to cry on the screen, but to be sobbing in like the screen and saying like these things of like, I wish I could do more, like I wish like there was things that I could do, as somebody who is a billionaire, is just like very, I don't know what the word
out
would
of
be.
touch.
Yeah,
Tone
like
deaf.
yeah, like very, yeah, just very performative. Like it's all just because, you know, I don't know, maybe it's multiple things. Maybe because people were, you know, being mad at her that she hasn't been super outspoken about what's currently going on, and that was her, I guess, way of doing it.
Yeah.
But I think with the statements that she specifically said in the video, I think are what more is very offensive.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that she's a billionaire. And the other thing is that she's best friends with Taylor Swift, like who's the American girl, right? And it's like, you guys can like come together to help all these people if you genuinely cared about what's currently going on with people.
Like raise awareness, advocate.
Yeah, or like I don't know, as a
protest.
billionaire, she can start her own nonprofit, or she can help current nonprofits or any other organization that helps, you know, that is already helping and supporting, you know, undocumented immigrants. Like she could do anything, because I feel like, to put it in like my own, I guess, like perspective, like how I said in the beginning, like there's times when I feel overwhelmed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm overwhelmed, where I feel like I can't help people. I wish I had all the money in the world to like help people and like, I don't know, like be able to buy and donate or actually go and volunteer and miss out of work because like I have all the money in the world and I don't have to worry about it. But she's somebody who has that type of money,
Mm-hmm.
who can do those things. And it's not like what's it called? Like it's not like mass deportations or deportations are something new. Like
Mhm.
those things have happened. And like, you know, Trump has talked about it before that this was his plan. So it's like, if you really cared about these things, why didn't you start from the get-go about it? You know? And I just feel like it's very, I don't know, like hypocritical,
Yeah.
or it's just how you said, like tone deaf. Like it's just like,
Yeah.
and it also, I guess, is weird in this time because of the fact that there has been other like groups that have been harmed where she has never been outspoken about it, which is why it's like it's weird to kind of like now you're trying to talk about it,
Yeah.
like now. And understandable, like it's because it's her own people, you know. But I think it's just like her doing that around this time and like the way she did it, I think it's just very like, it just doesn't seem genuine.
Yeah,
as
It
much.
just doesn't
no,
resonate.
no,
Yeah.
I get you. It for sure doesn't resonate, but like, I think the part where she specifically says, this is what she said: "I'm so sorry. All my people are getting attacked. The children, I don't understand. I wish I could do something." The her specifically saying all my people, and this, I mean, obviously I can't read her mind, but something about that did feel performative, because I think that one thing that I've noticed from Selena Gomez is that she has always been rejected as being the Mexican American icon by her own people.
Yeah.
And I think in a weird way it was her plotting to somehow like be finally accepted by our community in terms of the pop culture. Because I think that specifically her saying all my people are getting attacked, like we talk about on the show all the time about how there's an identity crisis in the Mexican American community, you know, because you know, everybody always says ni de aquí ni de allá. So I understand her wanting to be accepted, but it does give off performative because I felt like she's posting this and like I just think in general recording yourself crying is like when you really think about it logically, like she had to have set up the camera, started crying, you know, like looked at it and been like, this one's good, post. You know, like it just it's like the epitome of it, a performative. Like
like she had to rewatch herself.
like even if she wasn't a celebrity, I think if you're a normal person, recording yourself crying for the most part is always kind of a weird thing to do.
For me, it's the part where she says, "I wish I could do something."
Yeah,
because it's like, if only billionaires ran the country or something. Gosh, you know, that's so frustrating to me because, like you said,
if only I had $1 billion.
If only I was a billionaire. You know,
if only I was famous.
Well, because to me, it's like you said, she's in the circle with the people who are funding Trump.
Yeah,
you know, who won't say it out loud or who need to be more outspoken.
Yeah.
Who, you know, all these things. And where is all this then? Like, it's not like this hasn't been Trump's thing.
Yeah,
it's been since 2015, 2016. You know, 10 years now. Yeah.
Well, because I was like, I think specifically too, I think every single thing that she says triggers me. Because I'm like, because especially even when she says the children, I'm like, but where was this when the children were being separated from their families and being, you know, they always talked about like the children in cages, right? Where it's like, where was all this empathy when all these things were already happening to people? Like, where was all this when, like, you know, kids have been getting killed, you know, for all of the things that are currently going on.
I was gonna say, like, for when the obviously recently when the Palestinian conflict like blew up in the American sphere, like obviously it's been going on for a while, but like recently, right, it's been in the American sphere. Like the atrocities that's happened over there, she didn't say a single thing or a peep, and I get it because it's personal because, you know, the deportations are simply her ancestral background of being Mexican. But it's like, how are you gonna like pretend to be now this person who's so affected by these injustice on these children when you didn't say a single thing when the genocide was happening? Like that's what makes me feel like it's performative because it feels as though this was like her attempt at wanting to be like reverse assimilated, right? Accepted into the Latino sphere. And it also annoyed me that she put her story, and she put like, I guess you can't show empathy for people. Like, I just feel like that's such a, like a toxic mentality to have. Like I said, like, if she wasn't a celebrity, like, let's say that was a regular person, that sounds like something that somebody says to try and make you feel bad. Like, and I get it. Like, people should feel bad for shitting on her.
Like,
but you know what?
Like, where it's like, I guess I'll just never cry. You know?
I guess I just will never say how I feel.
I just will never say how I feel.
You know, that's not like a healthy way of addressing things. And it's very much like trying to victimize yourself.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I know you guys, maybe you guys are sick of hearing this, but I always say it's like she's a billionaire. Like, billionaires are part of the problem. It's not like there's this problem and billionaires are like all part of it. It's like, it's step by step.
Yeah.
Like, this is an oligarchy. Like, Trump is in favor of the billionaires. You can't become a billionaire without, in some way, shape, or form, taking advantage of people. Like, it's proven. Like, people look into this stuff. After a certain amount of money, you can amass that amount of money without taking advantage of people in some sort of way. Right? I also believe, like, it's the billionaire's existence, all the tax cuts and all the economic jeopardy and all these things, all these big jargon, it's directly tied to those type of people. So it's for her to, like, to me, it's just like, you're part of the problem. Like, the problem that your existence, that billionaires are causing, that oligarchies are causing, that all these people are causing, they're blaming it on our people. They're trying to blame it on they're trying to blame, there's no jobs because that's why we need to deport people. It's not because it's these fucking billionaires who don't want to pay people, who would rather use a robot, or who want to continue to have an impossible way to become a citizen so they could take advantage of their workers. You know, to me, it's just like, you're part of the problem. Like, your existence is part of the problem. Like, I'm sorry to say, but that amount of money shouldn't be hoarded in one person. You get what I'm trying to say?
No, I get you. I also saved like a bunch of takes if you guys want to hear them. Some of the big ones, not too many. One of them is very much repeating what we said by David Attenborough. His name is Al Hendifi. He said, "Girl, you have the resources to do a lot. You could fund legal services, translation services, permanent fund mutual aid programs, direct action that disrupts raids, immigration assistance programs that facilitates these folks on their way, and etc." That one got 115K likes and 4.2 million.
I was also gonna add,
views.
like, I don't know if this will come up in that, but I feel like the other part is that I know people always talk about, like, they're just celebrities, like why do you idealize them or put these on these things? But I feel like a lot of their actions, a lot of things they say actually affect real people. Like
there's a direct action.
Like it's no more like you can't, like, they're celebrities, like, why do you idealize them, or like you shouldn't be in the first place. And it's also like I can't control people to say like who they look up to or who they don't, but I'm just like, celebrities have always been the type to throw in their stories, right? Their stories of struggle. So it's like there's been this kind of like plant already of like they do this for a purpose when they speak out about their story, because they want to inspire people, right? So they've already been doing this, like trying to be this idealization for people. And it's like that's where it's like you can't really say that like you can't idealize them when sometimes that is kind of their goal. Their goal is to inspire you, right? So I'm just like,
you're tripping. People are tripping if they think that celebrities, like what they think doesn't affect like real world people. Yeah, because it does. I mean, people have these celebrities are just surrounded by so much money and so much influence. You're kidding yourself if you think that who they vote for and who they advocate for and what they say doesn't affect people.
They have, what do you call them? Like those people who are focused on your image, like publicity managers, right? Yeah. Publicity agents. They have like employees designed to like make them look good, make you like them, make you influence you as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
So like Taylor Swift when she had her I'm sorry.
No,
like Taylor Swift when she had her concert, they literally talked about how she put enough economy to fund a small country. You're really gonna sit there and say that what celebrities advocate for doesn't actually affect real life people? You're kidding yourself if you really think that.
And I feel like it's getting very tired to like have that, because I think it's just an excuse to be like, no, what they're doing is fine. Like it's an excuse again to just tolerate that what they're doing, what they're saying is like okay, because like they're way up there and we're like way down here. But like it's like because they're way up here, it affects all of us who are down here, like. And I'm just like, it's always crazy that people don't understand that. It's the same. I think we talked about it in this episode earlier, where there's like some correlation in that of like, letting people do these things and letting it slide is just tolerating, them getting away with like saying whatever they want,
being a terrible person.
Yeah.
No. Go ahead. I was just gonna read another take. This one is from Faye Unda, who looks like. She's from Mexico. She's a filmmaker. Yeah. I'm going to read the translated text because, I'm going to translate it for you, but the Google will help me translate. But in Spanish, she said, se pone a llorar como si no hubiera hecho una película que es puro propaganda racista hacia los mexicanos. So she basically just said, she starts crying as if she didn't make a film that's all propaganda that's racist towards Mexicans.
Yeah. And then I just wanted to add this, like, because this will better explain what I was trying to say. This is directly from Google. Many people argue that there are no ethical billionaires because accumulating such vast wealth often involves practices like exploiting workers, harming the environment, evading taxes, or benefiting from systems that create extreme wealth inequality. So essentially, the very act of being a billionaire can be seen as inherently unethical due to the vast disparity it represents compared to the wider population. And that's why I don't really feel such sympathy, because to me it kind of echoes a lot of like the early Elon days of where people are like, oh, he's so cool though, like that he's fine, like he's one of the good billionaires, and to me it's like how you said, where to me it feels like, oh, but she feels sorry though, like she feels something, that's why she doesn't have to do anything. Like, that's why she doesn't have to speak out. This is her speaking out. She feels bad, You know what I mean? Yeah. But she has the resources to do stuff.
Yeah. And I feel like, going to back, because I was looking up, because a lot of people have been comparing about, things that have happened in the past, and especially something that currently was happening was especially, with Palestine and the, children in Gaza and all that. And I think when they kept like getting at her about not speaking up, I think she said something on Instagram where she just wrote like a thing on her story, and she was just like, oh, like what's happening is horrific. And she basically said she was going to take a break from social media because she felt very like overwhelmed with what was going on. This isn't her exact quote, but I'm just like paraphrasing what she kind of basically said.
Yeah.
And she was just saying what's happening is horrific and it shouldn't happen to any sort of group, right? And she said she was going to take a break from social media because of everything, all the negativity that's happening. And like, I understand, like because everything's overwhelming, and how we've talked about, like currently a lot of things are overwhelming. Like if you need to take a break, that's great. Yeah. But it's like, you can take your break, but you can still come back and try to do something to be very helpful to these people. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I think
it's such a rich, snobby thing to say.
It just seems very privileged, to be able to do that. And I'm not trying to bash even like people who do that currently. Yeah. Because it is overwhelming. Like it is a lot. But I think for her and the type of person that she is, which is specifically she's a billionaire, like I think it's like, it's different because it's like you have the power to actually do something, and you're not doing anything. No, instead, you're just trying to like walk away from it.
If only I was rich. If only I had a bunch of money.
If only I had influence, like if I was famous.
If only I was rich and influential. Yeah. If only I could make a movie or something.
I'm telling you, it was just to me. It just gives like it was a PR stunt in the sense that she had gotten so much backlash from her Emilia Perez role from Mexicans, and I mean actual Mexicans, like from Mexico, that I think she wanted to somehow win that audience back, either for genuine intentions, like she wanted the warmth of her community, or for profit, like she had lost that demographic in that audience, and she wanted to win them back. And that's why she's like, these poor Mexicans getting deported, I wish I could do something. But it gives performative, because if you actually cared, you would have educated yourself and known there is actually a lot you can do. Yeah. You're only crying because you think this is such an easy fix, and you delete the video because you realize that obviously it's going to get backlash, because you're literally one of the richest celebrities that's here, one of the richest Mexican-American celebrities that there is. Like, there's so much that you can do. There's nothing you could do. You're tripping if you think there's nothing you could do. There's so much that the average person can do. Imagine what a billionaire can do.
That's why he's on the podcast. That's why he's on the podcast.
I am Mexican.
I was so mad.
Yeah, it's funny because I usually like when it comes to Selena Gomez, sometimes I'm like easier on her because I hate hitting on fellow Chicanas
and women.
And I hate hitting
and women.
Women. Well, I said Chicanas.
I lost my bad in here.
But I feel like this one was just too much. It Give Off Children of Men. If any of you guys have ever seen that movie, there's this famous quote that people always quote, and that's what I mean. It's such a snobby thing to say, where one of the premier lines in that movie is when the super rich guy who's living in the post-apocalypse, they ask him, how do you deal with like the struggle and the pain of living in such a horrible world? And he says, I just don't think about it. And it's deep, because he's a rich guy. He has the privilege and the funds to not think about it, as the rest of the world is suffering and can't afford to not think about it because they're living it. It's the same thing as Selena Gomez. Like, even that, like the conflict, I mean, it's not a conflict, the genocide that she so willingly was like, I need to take a break one. Like you said, like, I get it. It is horrific and people do need their breaks. But like, she's saying it as if like, oh my God, like, it's just too much. Like, I just can't. Like, my stomach can't handle it. Yet there's so much more that you could do.
No, for sure. That's such a good point you make, where it's like they can afford to just not be affected by it. They can afford to, like you said, I'll just turn off. I'll take a break. But the average Joe, or like the people who are deeply entrenched in the community, right, can't, because the problem is they've been made the problem, right? Yeah. So when it comes to the genocide, right, where we talk about how essentially it's ethnic cleansing. It's people who are on native land being forcibly removed by an empire, right? sound familiar? You know, like stuff like that, or like even
do I need to spell it out
like
for
even
you?
right now, how Trump wants to deport Native Americans to fucking
That's
where?
stupid.
To fucking where? Like where is their native land?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's frustrating, but yeah.
I think that's crazy, like the whole Native American thing, because I think and also in a weird way, they kind of also have to acknowledge that they're from here.
Yeah.
Like you have to fully acknowledge that we're on their land.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's like the interesting way. I mean, it's sad that, you know, they're being racially profiled and they're being, you know, questioned and detained for like, where are they from, or they're trying to be sent back. But it's like, where are you going to send them back to?
Yeah.
Like, you have to say now that they're from here. You have to acknowledge that this is their land.
Yeah.
And I think that's like crazy.
No,
It's just
yeah.
overall crazy.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But
Yeah.
moving on a little bit to do you want me to go first?
It's up to you, whatever you guys want.
So I guess for a little bit of levity, for a little bit of laughs, since we're talking about some serious stuff,
Some hee hee
there's
ha ha's.
some hee hee ha's. It's kind of relatable. So maybe some of you guys have seen there's this dark woke movement going on right now. So basically, the easiest way I can describe it is it's people who are woke, as you may call them, but they're dark woke, which means that you may not agree with their methods. So I wanted to give you guys some examples, and you guys would give me a thumbs up if that one gets the pass, or thumbs down if you feel like that's too far.
Time to use my yes and skills.
Okay, so this one was labeled dark woke with 1.5 million views. It is an interview with WWE wrestler CM Punk. He tweeted, "Same-sex marriage should be legal. The fact that it's illegal is embarrassing," to which a Twitter follower named EZK of Walsall disagreed, writing, "Man was meant for women, and even the thought of homos makes me sick." And Punk retweeted this message, quote tweeted it, and added, "Kill yourself."
Real. Wait, it's the CM Punk?
The CM Punk said
From
that.
WWE?
Yeah.
That's very funny.
It said
Yeah.
CM Punk, the first known practitioner of dark woke.
That's very funny. Yeah, I think so. I just said, bro. The paradox of tolerance.
True.
Yeah.
Did you?
Okay.
Okay.
I agree.
This was the one that I considered the genesis of the dark woke movement, with 9.2 million views. Someone took a picture of their grandma who fell down the stairs, and they tweeted, "My grandma voted for Trump, so I made sure she fell down the stairs." And it's their grandma like holding their ankle and shit.
Dude, like based on that, I went to. Have you guys ever been to Bob's Big Boy? Or have you seen it?
I've heard
seen
about
it,
it. Well,
yeah.
that's crazy. I just heard. About
I
it.
was there yesterday with my partner. Shout out. You know, she had never tried it, and I was like, oh, let's go. And it's like an old diner style thing. When I was a kid, it was a little bit more popular. I think maybe as time goes on, but they sat us next to these fucking old white people, bro. Like in that tweet.
Yeah.
And their whole conversation was like, I don't know, like
How they hate
like
minorities.
geriatric brain rot. Like they were talking about like this. The guy was literally talking about how he was like he said, "I hope you're ready for dictator Kamala Harris and as governor of California." And they're like, "Oh my God, I know." And they were talking about how like, I can't believe so many people voted for her. Like the end times are coming. This new generation is screwed. And I just want to like, I don't know.
Choke them.
I probably wouldn't even have to. I go like that and they'd
You probably just have to push them.
yeah, I don't know.
Dark. Brandon's the dark woke.
Yeah, I'm the dark woke.
He's practicing
But
dark
have
woke.
you guys ever been around people like that, or like in the presence of people like that who are like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
I've been around people who are like speak so proudly and loudly like about some
Yeah.
racist shit.
I think for me, it was when it was back in 2016
Yeah,
when I think he won. And I just remember seeing like Trump supporters, like people wearing his hat all over campus.
yeah,
And they were like, it looked like they were dressed for something formal. And I was like, y'all disgust me, bro.
Yeah.
Like, y'all fucking disgust me.
I
Y'all are
fucking-
like the ugliest people in this world.
If there's one thing I hate old white people, man. I saw this TikTok.
The dark woke.
I saw this TikTok and it was the funniest shit ever. Where was this old lady and like I guess she thought it was funny. She was like, back in my day, a boy's bathroom and a girl's bathroom were easy to distinguish. And the guy was like, back in your day, they would have thrown your old geriatric ass in a fucking cage and thrown away the key.
Damn.
That's fucking true. Then we got to start doing that again.
Bruh.
I'm so sick of all these fucking.
Brandon's
old
fucking with the
people.
dark woke movement.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Dark woke.
If they're gonna call us, if they're gonna say that all this shit is extreme, fuck it. Let's match their energy. Let's be extreme.
Did you hear that how the Spider-Man prequel series is coming out on Disney?
Oh, the guy said that he was worried it'd be woke. Fuck
The
that
guy playing Spider-Man
Bro,
said
what's
that
with
shit.
bootleg Spider-Man being
Being super conservative
and
shit?
racist?
I don't know. Have you seen that tweet that's like Harry, the neighborhood would be a lot friendlier if you and your family left. Because how Harry's played by they made him black in the show.
Yeah.
So I guess because since the voice actor was
worried it would
super
be
Republican.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. It's like that Doofenshmirtz line, you know? Like if
Which
I had a
one?
nickel for every time this happened, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird to
It
happen
happened
twice.
twice. Okay, here's more dark woke tweets. This one is controversial. So feel free to edit this out if it's too much.
Nah.
But it's 1.7 million views. Someone said, "I supported Amber Heard even back when I thought that she beat him unprovoked."
I don't get it. Like, what is she
He's
saying?
saying that like he supports all women, so she supported Amber Heard even back before she had, even when I thought that she beat him unprovoked,
Julie,
like without like
I'll follow your lead on
the
this one.
I don't.
Johnny
I
Depp
don't
being
get
like
it.
a bad guy.
Yeah, she doesn't get it.
I don't
No,
get
not
it.
that one. That one's a miss?
I
Down?
just didn't get it. That's why.
I supported Amber Heard.
No, I get it now, but
He's
it took too long. That's why. It did.
gonna reread it.
No, it's like when you don't get a joke, so they have to re-explain it. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
the time
It's
is
not
up.
Then I
fun-
guess
it's not
but
funny
I guess
anymore.
negative. That one isn't cool.
Whoa, what's that? one?
Okay, so this one is people. I don't know if you guys saw audience.
Yeah.
I'm speaking to the audience,
Yeah.
and you guys too, I guess.
Mhm.
You guys saw that RFK Jr. was being interviewed to see if he'll get the job of being
Yeah.
chief of staff or
I
some
can't
bullshit.
stand his voice. Bro.
And he has a voice, but it's because he has a disorder, and so it's just this account called Libs of TikTok. That's a super conservative account on Twitter, with 8.7 million views. It says leftist TikToker mocks RFK Jr.'s spasmodic dysphonia condition. These people are sick. Somebody just quoted it and said dark woke,
His
because I guess they're making fun of him.
Trump
Yeah.
made fun of a disabled reporter. Remember that?
But that's why,
And nobody
it's-
gave a fuck.
It's liberal, but
All
is
of
it
a
like is
sudden.
it fair?
Yeah,
is
I
it
think it's fair. Fuck RFK.
Damn,
Fuck.
it's because
RFK.
Brandon's a dark woker.
I hate his.
Julie,
voice,
what do you
bro.
think? Do you think it's fair to make fun of his disability?
I think that if you want to,
Yeah, that's actually pretty good, but that's kind of crazy. Dark woke.
Honestly, because I've been seeing the interviews, I was like, why does he sound so weird?
He has spasmodic
Did you-
dysphonia.
That guy's crazy though.
He is crazy.
Did you see?
But that's why it's the dark woke, because
did you know
he's not a good guy.
He hit a bear, like a bear cub, like with his car, and he hit it in Central Park and tried to make it look like a bike hit it. That guy's a fucking psycho. Fuck that guy.
So Brandon's saying yes, it's
feel
okay.
like
Julie,
I feel
Are you in
like
the middle?
bad people deserve bad things to happen to them. And I feel like I've always thought that people usually pay in life instead of, they go to hell. I think this becomes their hell.
I get
And I
you.
hope that generally happens.
He
get
belongs in
you.
hell.
Okay,
Bro, did
okay.
you
So
see-
I feel like
you guys are okay with that
I
one?
genuinely feel like horrible and bad people
I think this is
deserve bad things.
I just wanted to drag out because I want to do more RFK impressions. Give me a scenario.
okay. RFK Jr. comes home to find his wife in bed with another man.
No. I was gonna say, just give me a brain. I was gonna be like, what if instead of vaccines we gave him cats or some shit? You know?
No, it's pretty good.
What if? Have you seen where he's like in the hearing where they're talking?
Yeah,
to him?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's like, I don't know about vaccines.
Yeah, and I saw that he's like Trump likes a cheeseburger every now and then.
Yeah, what's wrong?
Some shit. This one,
Actually,
I don't think
they're-
I can read this one.
And
This is
also,
too much.
also, I don't think they're bad people. I think they're evil people, actually.
Yeah, I probably don't read that one.
But that one's dark woke,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
That one's pretty good. Maybe on the Patreon, if we should do a Patreon, maybe this is a segment for the
Yeah.
Patreon because some of this is crazy. Okay, this is the last one. So it's a video. I'll just describe the video to you guys.
Yeah.
So It's these two guys in front of a bar, and one guy is telling the other guy to say the N word, but if he says it, he's gonna hit him with a skateboard. And so he's like, just say it. And he's like, no, like, are you gonna hit me with a skateboard? He's like, yeah, if you say the N word, I'm gonna hit you with the skateboard. And that he says it, and then the guy hits him in the face with a fucking skateboard.
Damn.
Beautiful.
And I mean, like, hardcore.
Can I
He's
see
probably
the
for sure going to
Can I see
jail
the
though.
video?
Fuck
Yeah,
around
I see
and
it.
find out.
He's for sure going to jail
Can I
though.
see the video?
Yeah,
He's
fuck
going
around
to
and find
jail?
out for sure.
Nah, he shouldn't go to jail.
I mean,
Free
dark
him.
woke.
Free him. Free him.
Free him.
Free him.
He hit
did
him
nothing
hard.
wrong.
Yeah, I actually agree. I don't think this one's that bad. I mean, he gave him warning. He gave him fair
Man,
warning.
yeah, he told
He
him
gave
not
him
to.
fair warning. It'd be
Yeah.
different if he just hit him for no reason. But
Well,
he told him if he says it.
I was gonna say that I think the whole like taking the moral high ground and like being like nice about shit or trying to be like understanding. I think that's propaganda. It's like when they try to tell you like, but Martin Luther King, like it was all peaceful and like he never disagreed with him, but that's not true. He was pretty radical at the time and
Yeah, people
and,
hated
like,
him.
people hated him.
I mean, he got assassinated. But
yeah, you know. So I think this I agree with it because I think it's some real shit. You know.
Yeah.
I think fuck all these people. Like,
Yeah.
I
Did
think
you
they-
agree with the one I showed you
Yeah,
before that one?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
The one that ASAP Rocky said?
Yeah, he's supposed to get like 24 years, right?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'll show you after the show. I'm sorry, guys, everybody listening.
He
I
just-
can't. It's too much.
He was just very outspoken about homophobia.
Yeah.
And he had a very strong
Yeah, but
word
he
for it. Yeah.
maybe should have chosen his words more carefully.
Yeah,
but he was
what
just-
what you gonna do?
Yeah, I guess like sometimes it takes an evil to do good, right? Like the Punisher.
Yeah,
Bruh.
I can't stand.
All right, go ahead, Brandon. Send us home. What's your segment this week?
Okay, so my segment. Bear with me.
Look at this, guys.
I'm workshopping. the
Everyone
segment.
watching this, look
I'm-
at this.
I'm workshopping the segment. So this is a little segment I like to call Watchlist. I'm workshopping that as well. So if anybody in the comments has I don't know, a title suggestion, if you guys have a title
Brandon's
suggestion,
list?
Did you watch
maybe,
list?
maybe. I didn't want,
Watch
I didn't,
list. Watch this. Watch list.
Yeah. Oh, maybe.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right. That's why he gets.
That's
paid.
how I get paid. That's how I get the
Yeah.
big bucks. That's how we get
I
those
didn't
ads.
I didn't want it to be too close to the Jericho thing, right?
Okay.
made the list. You know.
Oh, the list of Brandon.
Yes. So basically, what I think this segment is like I'm trying to educate people or tell people facts that I think are what might put you on a watch list, but nothing too crazy. I just think like you should be made aware about.
I'm
this
sure
kind of
we
stuff.
already all are, even the
Yeah.
people listening.
If you make a reel out of this, maybe add like the glowing stuff, like
will.
in Pulp Fiction.
Oh.
Yeah. But I hope you guys like the prop.
It is.
I've always wanted a briefcase.
Did you
so-
buy that for this?
No, I bought it. Because
Hoping one day it would come in handy.
Yeah, I've always wanted a briefcase, and I was like, well,
Thrifted or like new?
new. Well,
Oh, nice.
because it locks
Nice.
and everything. So I was
It's
like,
pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think briefcases are cool. But
Good
all right,
prop.
to start off my segment, right? In the news, there's a lot of talk about deportation. But did you know this isn't the first time that there was a mass deportation in the United States? So, in the late 1920s, during the Great Depression, there was a huge spike in anti-Mexican and anti-immigrant sentiment. So, a lot like now, right? And as the economy tanked and the stock market crashed, many white Americans began accusing Mexicans of stealing American jobs. And because of the rise in economic pressure and racism, the U.S. deported over 1 million people of Mexican descent from the country, 60% of which were American citizens. The INS, or Immigration and Naturalization Service, never issued a formal decree, but it's estimated they deported about 82,000 people during that time. Local officials would use coercion and targeted raids as deportation tactics. So coercion, they would kind of just go to like social gatherings and kind of threaten them without threatening them, being like, there's free tickets on this train to go back to Mexico. Wink, wink. You don't want to lose your job, right? You don't want to get separated from your family. And at the time, 1/3 of LA's Mexican population left the country. So I guess I bring this up because history tends to repeat itself if you let it. So this isn't the first time that this has happened. In the 1920s, they used the exact same rhetoric. Crazy, they're almost 100 years apart, right?
Yeah.
Because it was the late 1920s that
Yeah.
they blamed immigration on taking their jobs. And, I guess because I wanted to bring this up because I see a lot of people talking like it's ridiculous, like that people are exaggerating, but they're not exaggerating.
Yeah.
And it's proof that they've done it before, you know, so why wouldn't they do it again? You know, and this was called the Mexican repatriation. They used the word repatriation to kind of be like, I make it sound friendly, but it wasn't. It wasn't voluntary. It was forcible. You know, they would threaten people. They would, I guess, go ahead and coerce them. I was reading about in the article that sometimes employers would get like their workers and put them in like a truck, and they would just drive to the border and force them to get out.
That's crazy. That's
you
fucked
know?
up.
So
That's
it's
sad,
crazy,
bro.
But
That's wild.
California and Los Angeles apologized about it in like the early 2000s. But as I was reading about this, because I had never heard about this,
Yeah.
A lot of people, like, it faded from public like memory. I'm sure they wanted to, right? But I just thought that was crazy, you know?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree, bro. And it is important because, I mean, what is it? Learn history or be doomed to repeat it. I think it's
Yeah.
true. It is crazy that it's like 100 years. Makes you think like, damn, time really does work in a cycle.
Yeah. Well, it makes you think that, or not even makes you think. It proves that this kind of sentiment never left.
Yeah.
Like when people talk about that,
Make America great again.
yeah, it never left. Like
It was just hidden.
well, because I always thought it was such a bar when people would say, "What time period are you talking about to make America great again? Like, what specific area of time do you want to go back to? Like, was it the 50s, before the Civil Rights Movement? Like, what are you talking about? Because it was never for Black and brown people and minorities and all the oppressed. America has never been great.
Yeah.
It's only been great for the rich and white, you know? And I think this goes to show, you know, that every time something happens, they're so quick to blame our community and take out and force, not force people, but encourage and enable people to take out their anger on us or on these communities instead of the people who cause it, you know? And yeah, that's what sucks.
No, you're right, bro. Good segment. Good segment. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
I never heard of that.
The Mexican repatriation.
Yeah, I don't know about it either, but I saw that it was coming back up because of what everything is currently going on. And so I've been seeing people be a lot more outspoken about the history of what's happened. And again, like we said, like it's important to spread that because it's like
it's easy to be gaslit. Like, you know, like you guys are doing too much. Like, this doesn't really actually, you know, Trump would never actually do something insane like that. But I mean, the United States has done something insane like that. And if anything, that rhetoric is at an all-time high right now.
Yeah.
So of course, it's not to be fear-mongering or to intimidate or make people scared. It's to make people educated and understand that if we don't stand up for ourselves, we can easily repeat history.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's interesting too because the article, just to give credit, I got the article from history.com. Aaron Blakemore, because we're school themed, so we annotate or whatever.
Or whatever.
We annotate or whatever.
We cite our sources.
We cite our sources, yeah.
Even the tweets, I cited my sources.
Yeah, so that, you know, we don't plagiarize here, so that's all cited. But they talk about how a lot of, well, like I just said, 60% were American citizens. They would just profile people.
Yeah.
If you looked or spoke Spanish, they would just say, "Oh, like just grab him," you know. And 60% being American citizens,
yeah, that's so
fucking
sad.
insane. 60%. I mean, that's crazy to me. Oh, and I didn't mention it, but it wasn't just 1/3 of LA's Mexican population. It was also Texas's population. I didn't see anything about them apologizing though, but I wouldn't expect them to.
I wouldn't expect
I wouldn't
that.
expect
Well,
them to.
it's crazy. Well, because I think you just mentioned it, but I know there was the post that we saw from Now This about how mostly a lot of U.S. citizens are being racially profiled and detained by ICE, and a lot of them have been like, one of them was because they generally were just speaking Spanish, and they were like, get them, and they were like, oh, they're like Puerto Rican citizens, and then it was like, and that was in the same article where they talk about the Native Americans also being detained.
Yeah,
and it's like you can see that it's currently happening, and like I get that the reason that people bring it up is because they're like, don't you see the similarities? Like, this is still possible. This is generally what is happening, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know. It's just crazy.
Well, Steve brings up such a good point. I think it's not so easy, but like people try to gaslight you to really tell you like, oh, you're doing way too much.
Yeah.
Like this will never happen. Like you're being ridiculous. It has happened. And if you don't stay educated or if we don't continue the fight, it will happen again. I mean, it's already happening.
Yeah.
Like you said, just like, because it's so ridiculous to the claim. It's already outlandish to try and send all these people back. But how are you even how are you even identifying who's an American citizen or not unless you're racially profiling?
Yeah.
Unless you're looking for white people. Unless you're excluding white people, you can that's the really the only. What are you supposed to walk around with your passport?
Yeah.
You know what the fuck?
And doesn't that sound familiar?
Yeah, right.
Or maybe they're gonna think that all Mexicans should walk around with something to identify themselves as Mexicans,
right?
Yeah.
If you get my drift, audience.
Yeah. Well, because there's there's the other part of like we've talked about the signs or like the steps of genocide, right?
Yeah.
Where there's also that like being aware of what are the steps. When is it the time when it's like you need to be alert and make sure that you know what's currently going on because you could be affected.
Yeah,
you know?
and I see those posts all the time. They're always great protest signs where it's like if you've ever wondered what you do during the civil rights movement or during the Holocaust or like during the times of great discrimination, it's happening right now. You know, and you're answering the question of what you would do.
Yeah,
some people do nothing and be complacent. You know,
This is like a great, beautiful like cycle of this entire episode because the way I think about it is, well, first thing I want to say, still speaking on this subject, it's not fear, like, because I already know some people would say like this is like fear mongering or you're trying to make people afraid, but this is quite the opposite. I think that being educated and knowing the history of the United States makes you less afraid because you're just sure of what the United States can do to you, and if you're always prepared. What do I always say? Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah.
Right? If you're ready already, you're not afraid. You prepare, you're not afraid. A test, right? You study for it, you're not afraid of it.
Yeah.
So I think that, and then I also think the full cycle of like, you see, in the beginning of the episode we said our ancestors did a lot more with a lot less. Just look at that, 100 years ago, almost exactly. And obviously now Mexican Americans, we're such a big culture here in the United States. Like, if we could survive for 100 years, we could survive for the next 100 years too.
Yeah. I just think, like you said, I think it's about staying
informed.
Knowledge is power. Like I saw,
knowledge is power.
I've been trying to like look up certain books, because I really think, hey, advice. You guys know I'm a prepper, but I think our audience, people who want to, you guys should buy books. Like, you guys should buy physical media. So that you guys can stay educated. There's lots of amazing literature, history books from the perspective of the indigenous people, Chicano history, the story of Palestine, like American history, from the indigenous people's point of view. I really do think people should stay educated on that kind of stuff because, like you said, I just think knowledge is power, and that's why the elites don't want you educated, but that's a story for another time.
That is a story for another time. But what a beautiful, beautiful episode, guys.
That concludes my segment.
Let him finish.
Watchlist.
Yeah. But Julie, aren't you gonna do our pink pill of the week?
Oh, you guys want me to do the pink
Hell
pill?
yeah!
Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't know you still had one.
All right, I guess we'll have this last thing. Men.
Sorry.
And the pink pill is to blame men as well.
Wow.
Oh, dark woke pink pill.
Yeah, dark woke pink pill.
Did you guys know that men's health also significantly impacts pregnancy?
Really?
I did know, only because you told me.
Wow.
Come on,
you're supposed to act like you didn't.
You gotta play it for the
You
real.
were like, what? I didn't know.
Okay,
do it again.
What?
Here, I'll count you off. All right.
Did you guys know that men's health also significantly impacts pregnancy?
No fucking way. Anyways, go ahead, Julie.
So of course,
Yeah.
men's health significantly impacts pregnancy by affecting sperm quality, which can influence the likelihood of conception. Right? I said that right?
Yeah.
As well as potentially impacting the baby's health through factors like paternal age, lifestyle habits like smoking and alcohol consumption, and pre-existing medical conditions like diabetes.
Wow. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, fellas,
They
work
were-
out them sperms.
They were also saying there was a TikTok that I had seen, which is the start of like all this. Because I mean it is talked about smoking and drinking. So it was about men who use marijuana that can impact fertility and health in their future children. So a lot of marijuana can reduce sperm count, sperm mobility, and sperm viability. Marijuana can cause abnormalities in the shape and size of sperm. And then ovulation, marijuana can delay and inhibit ovulation. And so there's just like a lot of things that can happen. They've also talked about how there's a sort of correlation about your partner, specifically the male, smoking a lot, and it can also cause having like miscarriages, and like stillborns. And so there's a lot of harms within men's health, which for women, there's also their health, you know. I'm not saying that nothing about the women affects them,
yeah, of course.
but men's health also does.
Yeah.
Just to be
stupid
aware.
to think that. You'd have to be conservative.
Just to be aware
Dark
that
woke?
it's not just the woman who does, you know, all of the work during pregnancy.
Yeah.
It's also the men. So, you know, before, you know, what's the word? Conception?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of things that not only the women has to do, but the men also have to do.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. I feel like, well, for one, it makes sense on like, of course, right? Like, it's two genes uniting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want healthy genes, right? But I also think, in a lot of ways, I've seen it a little bit before, where some men kind of just will leave women on their own to handle their pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of lack of understanding. But I think this like, what's the word? Like, it shows that it goes further, like even on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Like you can't just throw your hands up. Like it's a 2 people thing, you know. You can't just throw your hands up and yeah.
Well, because the other thing, which from the videos and all the information that I've been kind of gathering, the main one was about like miscarrying, right? Because of, you know, not only is it the woman's health, but it's also the men's health. And when women miscarry, you know, it always happens that the woman is to blame, right?
Yeah.
They're like, she didn't take care of herself. She didn't do the right things. She didn't eat the right things, or whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
They always blame her, but then there's now another layer to it of like the man could have been smoking, like the man could have just, you know, he wasn't living a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
It could be anything, right? It could be both. It could be one, but it's just like it's not
or
just
it could be neither. Sometimes
or it could be neither. Yeah. But it's just like it's always just put the blame on the one that's carrying.
Yeah, I get you.
You know.
Yeah.
I get you.
And so I think it's just more to bring awareness in that
For sure.
of like just it's not just somebody to blame. There's just multiple things that can.
There's a lot of factors.
And like, you know, I think especially with that of like people also don't know that when women also miscarry, their bodies still like they're still developing in as if they did have a child. So they're still like, you know, like
Hormonal
with milk,
stuff?
right?
Yeah.
Like with milk, they're still what is it like lactating?
Yeah.
Right, that's the word.
Mm-hmm.
They're still doing that even though they don't have a baby. Their body is still going through the like emotions and everything as if they did have the baby.
Wow.
So there's a lot of things, you know, that like happen, and so just wanted to bring that as an awareness, and that was the pink pill of the day.
Wow.
Nice. Of the week.
Of the week.
Oh, we need a word of the week.
I got one.
Okay.
Wow, you kind of stepped on my toes, bro.
Sorry.
It kind of reminds me of this oligarchy that's happening.
Oh,
and that's
oligarchy.
the word of the week. Yeah.
What does it mean?
Okay, oligarchy from ancient Greek, meaning to rule by few. Oligarchy is a form of government in which power rests with a small number of people. Yeah. So stay aware of what an oligarchy is, because we're under one.
Stay
right
woke. Stay
aware.
Dark
But
woke.
We really hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
We're trying a lot of new stuff. We're gonna try doing weekly segments like this.
Yeah, we have new studio.
For you guys, new studio.
Yeah. Sorry, we've been kind of inconsistent at the beginning of the year.
We've been sick, you know. We've been doing the responsible thing.
Oh yeah, we've been.
Shout out to everybody for supporting us, for staying with us on this journey on our 3rd year. Of course, shout out to
junior year.
Shout out to our patrons. Shout out to Yoel, Jada Chicano, Eli Quintero, I Am Potato Tot, Stephen Carvajal, Carla Corazon, and El Verdugo de Pasadena. Your patronage is always appreciated. If anybody ever wants to join the Patreon, our link is always in the description. We got a brand new video out on there. So I know you guys missed us on Patreon, but go ahead and check that out. We really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.